university. So the host universities have to commit to one honorarium, and it has to be cash, and then also provide assistance with housing, office, access to office equipment, computers, etc. There are deadlines quarterly. Is about approximately 4 deadlines every year, and you do need to submit your applications about 8 to 10 weeks in advance of those deadlines. So take a look and see and prepare in advance for those. The short-term lectureships are typically 1 to 6 months, so that's about 1 month to a full semester, to a full year. There are some short-term lecturers who are here for the full academic year teaching. And again, it's any field, and it tends to be younger. There are a lot of younger scholars who are involved in this. There are some almost at all stages. The younger ones like to use it to get their international experience in. Let's see, the other way around is the visiting professorship program. So this one is where a North American scholar or professor can actually go abroad and teach in Germany. It has a very similar scheme. I don't know whether the host university has to commit to the honorarium, but because this program, because of DAAD funding, it tends to be easier for our administrative purposes to fund from the German side. The host university will be the one who receives the DAAD funding, where you are paid according to German civil servant scales. And so the salary is quite good. It's an almost full salary of what probably like an entry-level civil servant or professor would receive in Germany. It's intended for 1 semester to 2 years, so the time period is slightly longer than the short-term lectureship program. Probably the biggest question is for these is a PhD required? And in both of these programs, I have seen lecturers who have lecturing at the university level, lecturing experience at the university level, who have not had, do not exactly have a PhD. Usually a terminal degree in their field is required. So for example, I know a lot of architecture, people in architecture don't necessarily get a PhD. If they get a PhD, it's purely for teaching. But they might have a master's level degree, which would be the terminal degree, usually in a practicing architect. So somebody who has a significant, who's significant as an instructor, or relevant, very relevant as an instructor for their experience, especially in practical fields, they're eligible to be either a short-term lecturer or a visiting professor as well. The visiting professorship does have tighter deadlines, so it's January 15 and July 15 every year. So a lot of I hope this will kind of spur some questions. Tips for success. Tips for success is there's a lot of, number one, I think that is the best thing that you could do that may or may not even be on our presentation, is even above all, see what kind of resources are available on campus. Is there a fellowship office in your campus? Is there a professor that could help guide you? Having somebody like that, having a mentor, having an advisor in a situation very close to you is the best thing that you could have. Bar that, read through the instructions very carefully. Express why your stay in Germany is critical. So this is, that's one of the things that we're looking for in your narrative proposal, why you need to go to Germany. A good GPA, also quality letters of recommendation. In terms of logistical things, we want to see that people have been following instructions. The number one thing I think I see wrong that Myung-Shin and I actually find quite amusing is that a lot of people send their photos in. And if you read the instructions carefully, you'll realize that North American applicants do not need to submit their photos. Make sure that your application arrives on time and all of your documents are complete. One thing that we will look for that probably does vary a little bit, or you might have more questions about, is the letter of invitation from a German professor or institution. So we want to know that you have a contact in Germany that you're going to. You have access to the archive that you need to go to, or you have the person under whom you are going to study is willing to mentor you. if you are applying for a master's degree or a PhD program, you don't have to prove that you've been admitted to the program yet, but we want to see what kind of evidence you've made, or what kind of evidence of the contact you've attempted to make. An email reply from anybody from the German side would suffice in certain situations. Other situations, at this point, you have about a month left yet to submit the study scholarship and research grant. So we would prefer to see that there is an actual letter on letterhead with a signature. And the last one is to utilize your campus resources. I was at a university recently where the faculty members were offering an open door to review the proposal narratives, and I think that that's great. If you can find a professor who's willing to do something like that for you, you can't get any better than that. Everything's online nowadays. You know, I sometimes tell people in the office that, you know, my being here is almost extra. I'm not really needed because half the things that I tell people are online already. So all of the instructions and all of the application forms are from our website, DAAD.org. If you're a North American student, make sure you go to the DAAD.org website and not the DAAD.de website. It's not that we want to restrict you from seeing what's out there on the other website. We're just telling you that we've tailored this website for the North Americans. We've taken all of the other extraneous information out, and we've have specific guidelines for North American students. Other resources that if you're not finding that a DAD program that exactly fits your needs, is to go to these other websites, the highereducationcompass.de. That's one of my favorite websites. That's where you can find out which German universities are offering programs in what fields. So that's a good way to find a contact in Germany, is to start there at the Higher Education Compass. And then you can see which universities have professors or faculty in that field. A lot of times there's even the exact faculty contact information right on that Higher Education Compass. If you don't see exact faculty, there are definitely website links to them. Funding guide is more funding information, and the DAD.de IDP, that's for the international degree programs. Those are the degree programs that are in English, in case you're not confident with your German.